Jai Hind to all. This is Santosh Mishra, Assistant Professor in Information Technology Department at AKGEC Engineering College. As we are continuing with studying this subject, object-oriented programming with Java, where the concept of Java we have studied some of the concept in previous lecture, and today lecture we will see how can you program in Java. What are the way to create the classes in Java? Why we create the class in Java? What is the how can you create your object and why we need that? What are different keywords, like what is the role of static keyword, what is the role of final keyword, and what is the role of this keyword in Java? We will try to complete these topics in today's lecture. Let's start. So, how can you create a class? Before that, you have to know why we need a class. In previous lecture, as I have told you, that Java provides the concept of encapsulation, where it wraps the data and its method into a single unit, so that the entity outside that unit may not access those data, so that you can make your data secure. Means we put the data, means variables, and behavior, means functions, methods, within a wrapper, and that wrapper is a class, and that we created to encapsulate the data, to hide the data, so that entity outside that class may not access those data if programmer do not wants to reveal those data. Means you can create a data security mechanism through this class. So that wrapper is class. So now it's clear that why we create a class. When we in another way, if we want to define what the class is, then we can say that class is a collection of some variables and functions. So to create a class, we will write a keyword class. To create a class, you have to write a keyword class, and as you all know that keywords are reserved words that have some predefined meaning. So this class keyword is used to create a class. Write this class keyword. After that, name the class. Let's say I have named the class as student, and after that open this class by opening curly braces, and now after at the last close this class by closing curly braces. Within this open and close curly braces, you can write your code, and this way you have put your code within a class. So here there may be some variables like int roll number, string name, and there may be some functions like word display, and this display function is displaying system dot out dot println, and here you are printing roll number equals to plus roll number, and after that you are again writing system dot out dot println name equals to plus name. Means this display function is displaying the roll number and name of the student. Now this class student have two variables, roll number and name, and a function display that is displaying the roll number and name of the student. This way you can create a class. This class is just a template for creating similar type of object. Now the question is what the object is. You can understood that an object is the instance of the class. If you want to use a class, then you need to create the object of that class, and by that object you can access the members of the class by dot operator. So if you want to use this class, anywhere, then wherever you want to use, you just create the object of the class. Let's say I am creating another class named apply, and here I want to use that student class. So I am creating a class again named apply, and apply, here in this class I want to create the object of the class, and object is an instance, means it's a runtime entity. So this class should have main function. So to write the main function, we write public static void and main, and within this main we pass a string type array. Now start this main function, and here you can create the object of that student class if you want to use that over here. So to create an object, you have to write the class name. The class name is student, and after that write class name, and after that create the name of the object, that is any identifier. Let's say I have created O1 equals to new, then class constructor student. I have used here default constructor that is available with every class by default. So this is the name of the class, this is the object name. Now this new keyword, after that I have use the constructor of student class that is by default available with that. So this way you can create the object of that student class. So another object, if you want to create another object, then also you can in the similar fashion you can write student object name equals to new student constructor. This way you have created two objects named O1 and O2. Whenever you create the object of any class, then this object contains the instances of the instance variable and functions. Means this O1 have, let write it over here. This O1 I am writing here. This O1 have all the members of the class student. Means this student class have roll number, means this O1 have roll number. Then this class have name, means this O1 have name. It have a display function, means this O1 have a display function. Means this O1 have instances of all the member of the previous class, that because we have created the object of that class. Similarly, you have created another object O2. This O2 also have the same things, the roll number, name and display. All these three O2 also have roll number, O2 have roll number, O2 have name, and O2 have display function. all these three things are available with O2 also. And if this O1 or O2 want to access those roll number or names, then that can be accessed by writing O1 dot roll number, O1 dot roll number. And if you want to display that, you have to put that within system.out.println method, system.out.println. And here I have written roll number equals to plus and O1 dot roll number. This way you have not assigned anything to this roll number, so by default blank will be printed, because in previous class you have not assigned anything to this roll number or name. If you want to assign something, some roll number or name to this, then you can use another function. There are many ways you can create another function. I am creating a function, more function over here, and in this function I am creating a function void set detail. I am creating a function set detail, and in this set detail I am passing a int value and a string value. Two parameter I am passing, a int and a string, and this function is setting roll number equals to n and name equals to s. Now this class have two variable and two function. In set detail function, it is passing two integer value and a string value. It is passing two parameter and setting these parameters to the roll number and name. So, and this display function is just displaying the roll number and name value. So, once you created the object, then this O1 have roll number, name and set detail function, because you have created another function set detail also. So, this function also will have O1 have the copy of that. So, similarly, O2 also have set detail function. So, before displaying the roll number, so to display the roll number and name, we have used set roll number, and to display we have used display function, and to set the roll number and name we have used set function, set detail function. So, you can call that set detail function by calling O1 dot set detail, and here you are passing roll number as 101 and name as AKGEC. Means this set detail function, we have passed 101 as for this variable n, for this formal parameter n we have passed 101 during calling, and for this s we have passed AKGEC. Now this 101 will copy it in n, and this n will be assigned to roll number. Similarly, this AKGEC is passing to s, copying to s, and this s is set to name variable. This way, once you called O1.setDetail function, the value that you have passed have already been set to the roll number and name variable. Similarly, once you want to set the value for the O2 variables, then call O2.setDetail, pass, let us say I have passed 1 and AKGEC GZB. So, now for this O2 object, roll number value will be set as 1, name will be set as AKGEC Ghaziabad. So, To call, now you can call the display function of the corresponding object to display the variable set by the setDetail function. To call that function, just call o1 dot display, and this display function of o1 will be called, and it will what the display function is doing, it is just displaying the value roll number and name set by the object. So, and similarly you can call o2 dot display to display the variable value set by the o2 object. Now this close this main function, and after that close the class. This way you can create, you have created a student class. Within this student class you have created two variable roll number and name, and two function setDetail and display function. setDetail is setting some values to these variable roll number and name, and display function is just displaying those values. If you want this similar task to be done in your code, then there you create the object of this class that contains these functions and variables. If this type of work you need anywhere, just create the object of that class there, and by that object call these functions, and these functions will perform those duties that you have written over here, and will this way you can say that this class makes your code reusable. This class makes your code reusable. You have created a class one time, and whenever you require this type of task, you just create the object of that class, and through those objects you can call the methods that you have defined over here. This way you can create a class, you can create the object of the class. I have told you that object is the instance of the class, and here you have created the instances O1 and O2. And once you create the instances, it contains the members of the class, and by those instance variables, by those objects name, you can call those function with that dot operator. And object, you can also say that class is a collection of similar type of objects, means how any number of object you can create it, and each and every object will have all the members of the class. I have told you in previous class that class is a template for creating object, means any number of object you created, all those objects will have all the attributes and behavior, means variables and functions of the class from that it has been created. This way you can create an object, you can create a class. After creating a class, you can create the object of that class, and by that object you can call the members of the class. This way I hope you understood how to create a class and how to create an object. Now you can see over here that the member of the class may be called only through the object. The member of the class may be called only through the object. You can, if you want to call a member directly without creating the object of that class, then you can use a concept that is static keyword. Static. So let us start what the static keyword is. Since you have seen here that to access the member of the class, you will have to create object of that class like this, and by this object using dot operator you can call the member of the class. You can call roll number as O1 dot roll number, setDetail as O1 dot setDetail, and so on. But every time it is not needed that you create the object of that class. There are some situations where you cannot create the object of the class. To create the object, you should have some main function on, then only you can create the object of that class. But the static keyword, let us understand what the static keyword. If you put this static keyword before any variable, let's say I have created a class ABC, and within this class I have a variable int x equals to 10 or int x. If you want to make it static, you have to write a static keyword before the declaration of that variable. And once you make a variable as a static variable, then that, since previously if you have not applied this static keyword, then this x variable have its copy with every object, because it's a instance, it's a instance variable. If a variable is not static, it's a member of the class, then its copy will be created with every object. Its copy will be created with every object. But if you make it static, then its single copy will be created. It will not be copied with every object. It will be the property of the class itself, and that member that you have make static, you need not to create the object of that class to access that member. To access this static member, you can directly call the static member by the class name. Let's say I have created a main function over here, public static void main. One thing remember, you can put your main function within the same class also, or you can call this main function, you can write this main function in some another class also. Okay. In previous example, I have created this main function in another class, and here I am creating within the same class. In this main function, I have written a string args, and here if you want to access that member x, this static member, then you can access that directly by the class name dot member name, without creating the object. You can access that like this. To display this, I am putting it in system.out.println method, and here I have called it. This way you can call a static member directly by the class name without creating the object of that class. So if a member is static, then you can call it directly by the class name, because it's a property of the class. Its copy will not be created with every object, and this way you by the class name, and after that put a dot operator, and you can call the member. Similarly, you can make a static method and you can call it directly by the class name. Okay. After this, we will continue the concept in the next lecture. Hope you understood what I have explained here. So we will meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Thanks a lot.